The big news this week is the aftermath of the debate between Biden and Trump. And I'd like to call attention to something that I haven't heard anyone speak about. That the moderators did not ask President Biden any questions about the uptick in anti-Semitism in the United States. Especially that the debate happened a day or so after what happened in Los Angeles, where Jews were attacked in front of a synagogue and so on. And could you imagine if there were anti-black riots, or there were anti-gay riots, or Hispanic? Could you imagine that wouldn't be a major issue at the debate to discuss, to ask? It's mind-boggling that it wasn't. Same token, the President of the State of the Union, President Biden of the State of the Union, did not mention the issue and the problem of anti-Semitism, college campuses, and throughout the country that was taking place at the time. How could he not mention it? Could he imagine if that was the case for any other group? That would be the headline. It once again emphasizes the state that Jews have to realize that there is anti-Semitism rampant everywhere. And we shouldn't be afraid because of it. We just have to know it, so that we have to try to outsmart it. You know, when we take out the Torah every single Shabbat, or every single time we take out the Torah, we say a verse from a week and a half ago's Parsha. We say, Vahi ben Soya Oren, when the ark traveled, the ark would travel in front of the people when they traveled through the desert, and even went in front of them when they went out to war, as a protection to the Jewish people. So Moshe would say, Hashem, may your enemies be dispersed. And the question was asked, and Rashi discusses it, who are the enemies of God? And why are we talking about enemies of God? And the answer is, the enemies of God are those who hate the Jewish people. Those who hate God are those who hate the Jewish people. It's one and the same. Why? Well, let's see how it's playing out in the world today. You know, for hundreds of years, we dealt with what we call the far-right anti-Semitism. And today, we're dealing with far-left anti-Semitism. But I'm not sure how far left you have to be anti-Semitic today's day and age. Because we're finding that even those who aren't espousing anti-Semitism themselves are ignoring the issue, for example, at the debate. Or are not calling out members of their own party who are saying terrible things against Israel and the Jewish people. When there's a total double standard. Think about it. Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, is called out for complaining about the amount of arms, when the President of Ukraine is constantly calling out, we need more arms, and no one, and you should be sending us more arms, and no one complains about that. Everyone understands him. And to think about it, the fact is that the situation in Israel is far different to Ukraine. Yes, Russia is an aggressor in Ukraine, but Russia's interest is to control Ukraine, which is not good. But they have no interest in killing Ukrainian people, whereas Hamas wants to, it's in their charter, to kill every single Jew. Let's be very clear. So we are fighting a war of survival. And yet, who gets criticized by the left today, by the far left? It is Israel. That's something, now, interesting. The ones who hate God hate the Jewish people. If you want to think about it, that is an interesting phenomenon that we find, that those who don't want the Ten Commandments in the schools, that those who have thrown God out of their life, so to speak, and the focus of life, and don't want it mentioned generally, are the ones who are not, are the ones today who are either being hateful or indifferent to our plight, to the plight of the Jewish people. And those who espouse values, gender values, and values of all kinds of social values that are antithetical to the to the values of Torah, the values of Hashem. These are the ones who are hating on us today. Now you might ask, however, how about, people like, how do they go on together with the Muslim anti-Semites who are screaming, Allah Akbar, God is great? Don't they love God? Well, I'll tell you the answer to that very simply. Rabbi Litzik Raditchev, the great tzaddik, had a heretic in his community. He would always speak negatively about God. And once he spoke to him, he says, what's your problem? He says, well, a God who could allow these terrible things to happen, and I can't, that's a terrible God. I can't believe in him. And Belitzer B'dishev said to him, the God you don't believe in, I don't believe in either. The God that they believe in, radical Muslims who kill and maim and rape and mutilate and destroy, that's not the God we believe in. And so therefore, those who hate our God, the God of the Jewish people, the God of kindness, the God of love, the God of faith, are come together with those who hate the God of the Jews in both directions, on both sides. And when we say, therefore, Hashem, you have to protect us, because you're not doing it for us, you're doing it for you. Because those who hate us hate you. And when we realize that, first of all, we call out to Hashem to save and protect us. We also call out to ourselves to understand and appreciate we are here representing Hashem. And we have to always know that. And when we do, it could transform our life. Professor Branover is a great professor coming out of Russia. He has a book called Return. And he wasn't religious at all. And he got incredible good marks. And he was looking to be accepted in the University of Leningrad for physics. And when he was knocked back, he was devastated. He didn't understand why and how it could possibly be. But he says that moment, after his sweat and after his tears and after his disappointment, that was the road to tshuva. That brought him on the road back to Hashem. And this is something that we have to realize, that when we realize that anti-Semitism is saying something about who we are, that we represent Hashem, then we have to do so to the best way we can, to represent Hashem in the best of our abilities, because that's what we're called to be. This is who we are. And to have a greater appreciation of that and all sorts of anti-Semitism and our response to it and how to outsmart it, I invite you to join our course, whether live or on Zoom. It's starting on 30th of July at 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and you can be part of it on Zoom, wherever you are in the world, if you'd like. It's a 4-part course. And yeah, I'm looking forward to see you. Shabbos.